Transfer Exchange Show. We are live and transfer window is up and running. It is absolutely on fire at the moment. Well, for Arsenal it is, especially considering there was a lot of discourse about how Arsenal aren't moving. Look at what Man United are doing. And all of a sudden, Arsenal signed, officially signed 2 players, on the way to signing potentially 3, maybe 4. Extensions done, extensions in the pipeline, and then you hear news of a potential swap for Donny Madueke and Ethan Nwaneri, which is not the actual news, but aggregators get hold of the news and twist it in all sorts of ways to make it sound a little bit crazy. It's been a very up and down week in football in general, for sad reasons and bad reasons. Starting off with the passing of Jota, who sadly passed away in a car crash with his brother, Andre. It was a very sad day on Monday. The whole world of football felt it. A man lost, the kids lost, 3 kids lost a dad. Mum and dad lost 2 sons and a wife. Lost a husband as well. So it was a very, very sad day, which it also hit me hard. Even as I was doing videos, it was quite an emotional day. A lot of people talking and sending their wishes and a lot of montages of Diego Jota. And Liverpool have also retired the number 20 shirt as well. So yeah, it was a very, very sad day for Jota, and we'd like to send our condolences to everyone who felt it, because yeah, in the world of football, people just come together at these moments here as well. I'm joined by Steve K, and I'm joined by Gareth Lewis. How's everyone doing?
Yeah. Good evening, Kieran. Good evening, everybody out there. Good evening.
Before we get on to any sort of football, anything pressing, Steve, the passing of Diego Jota came absolutely out of nowhere in a tragic car crash. What were your feelings on Monday when you heard the news? It was a bit of a shock, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just the feeling of you know, you want to go and hug your family and do many things, and yeah, it just, you just, things like this, makes you realise, what you've got, and something like this could happen to any of us, and it makes you think about a lot of things. And yeah, I mean, when I heard the news, I was many things, lost for words, stunned, devastated. Straight away, the thoughts go to, his wife, who he'd married 10 days before. 3 little children. I mean, 28 years old. I mean, you already said, lost a dad. Yeah, look, I mean, we're in the height of the transfer window, and when I heard the news, it was actually quite a very busy time, and I had plans on doing certain things that day, and we literally just put down tools, and whatever news we heard, we just we wasn't putting nothing out. We just wasn't in the mood. We didn't think it was right, and yeah, it was just a day of mourning. Not only the loss of a a very good footballer, a young man, but a loss of of a dad, of a son, and not forgetting his brother. So many things, so many thoughts, and yeah, I mean, that it's still not. I've still not got over it. I'm still thinking about it. Still keeps coming into my mind. And I think it's going to be a long time before it do. I think it's resonated. We all resonated, if you got a family or not, whether you got kids or not. And it's been good to see the football family come together. But yeah, it was a surreal moment. and yeah, as I say, thoughts go out to his mum, his dad, his children, and his wife. Just a terrible tragedy, and hopefully it never happens again.
Yeah. Garth, was your few words before we go?
Yeah, I listened. You gents said everything perfectly. I don't have much to add. It's devastating news. It's crushing for everyone associated with it, the fans of Liverpool, the club, the family of the two men. So, yeah, I will say I'm going to give a nice bit of credit to Liverpool here, because if they are retiring the shot, that's really good news. I think that's something nice. And they're also apparently paying out the last 2 years of his contract that they're on the books to the family. So, that's a classy move from them. But, yeah, you gents have said everything perfectly. So, condolences to everyone involved with it.
Well said, mate.
And more news in the world of football, away from football, which we will talk about after this statement. Former Premier League footballer, former Arsenal footballer, not Premier League, former Arsenal footballer Thomas Partey has been charged with 5 counts of rape and sexual assault. The offences reported has taken place in 2021 and 2022. The Metropolitan Police has said the charges involve a woman, 2 counts of rape relating to one woman, 3 counts of rape in connection to a second woman, and 1 count of sexual assault linked to a third. The Ghanaian international denies the charges and welcomes the opportunity to finally clear his name, the lawyer said. This is a topic which at the moment is quite delicate, and I think rather than us talk about it without all the full information and it come across as gossip, I think it'd be something that we probably handle a bit more professionally than just having a topic of conversation between 3 people. So it is something that we are going to discuss. We're not going to try and brush over it, especially me as an Arsenal fan. It'd be wrong for me to try and brush over it like it's not happened. But I'd like to talk about this when we've got all the information, and we'll do it a lot better than just having a chat and talking about hearsay, because I think we've got to have a lot of respect for the victims who are involved as well, and the whole justice system involved. So it will be a topic which we'll cover, but not at this time. So I hope everyone respects that. Now on to football. There's plenty have been happening this week, especially with Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres, the announcement of Martin Zubimendi, Manchester United potentially going to sign Calvert-Lewin and revive his career, because it's worth reviving, Garth. Garth should be covering his face like this.
God.
Just cover your face. I know you'd rather have this man here, but again, we'll get onto that one.
Definitely.
As well. We're better to have in the room than Steve K on this topic. Steve, this is a transfer you've been covering for a while. In January, or just around January, towards the end of the season, probably more so. The news about Victor Gyökeres started to sort of really ramp up, especially after Andrea Berta joined the club. And it seems within the last couple of days that they've changed their mind on Benjamin Sesko due to the fact that there could be, RB Leipzig were not willing to budge on the 90 million euro transfer fee. First of all, we're going to that one, Steve. RB Leipzig not being willing to budge on a 90 million transfer fee. Do you think Arsenal are right to turn away and move to a different transfer target in Victor Gyökeres?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've reported that this transfer, will depend on which other transfers that we buy during the window. So the structure of payment was very important. Wherever well, whether it would be Victor Gyökeres or whether it be Benjamin Sesko. But my information is a little bit different from everybody else. Is my information from a source very close to Arsenal Football Club is that it's not actually the full fee for Benjamin Sesko. It's actually the payment structure of Benjamin Sesko's, the way Leipzig wanted it paid out over a certain amount of years. I don't know. I don't know what that structure of payment is. I don't know what Leipzig are willing to want. All I know is that they want a very, very large amount of fee put up front. Arsenal want to spread it across like a 5-year period. They don't feel that he's ready, as what RB Leipzig think that he's ready. So Arsenal are just marking their cards, and they did come. There was a breakthrough for the fee. As I said, my information is that they just could not come to an agreement over the structure, and eventually it was close between Sesko and Gyökeres anyway. I mean, while they was talking to Sesko, they was equally talking to Victor Gyökeres. So whether Berta was playing them off of each other, whatever. But they was obviously keeping their options open to see whatever the best deal that they could get. So they've moved on to Gyökeres. And now Leipzig, from what I hear, are in a little bit of a pickle, because they're asking this extortionate amount of money up front for Benjamin Sesko, and from my information is that no team is willing to pay that amount of money down, or would be silly enough to do so, which someone said to me today. So we'd have to wait and see what happens with Benjamin Sesko. But Victor Gyökeres is the man now. He will be signing for Arsenal.
Yeah. Garth, we've seen Steve just said there about Benjamin Sesko. Do you think Leipzig are a little naive? Not because they're well versed in selling players. They've been doing it for years. It's actually their model. Do you think it was a wise decision for RB Leipzig not to budge potentially on that transfer fee, with this possibly being the most they would be able to get for Benjamin Sesko? Or do you see that he could potentially attract more money from other teams in the future?
I don't think they're well within their rights. I don't think they're being silly. Funny enough, like if they're asking for 150, maybe it might be a bit outrageous. But from what I read, it was 80 million euros they wanted. You boys were offering 70, and it was you that refused to budge on that. And they wanted the 40 mil up front. They wanted half of it up front, like Steve's saying. From what I've read, the same from the Daily Mail. From all that you boys have been telling me for the last year and a half, is Sesko's the man. That's who Arsenal want. He's the perfect fit for this team. No one else comes close to being the perfect fit that Sesko is for this system, for Arsenal. You know what I think of Gyökeres. I think he's not that great. And personally, I mean, what's Gyökeres going to cost? 60? 65? I mean, I actually think Arsenal are being a bit silly here, personally. I think you should have gone and got Sesko, because this is the man that everyone keeps telling me is the man. I don't rate Gyökeres that highly, so that might be colouring my thing. And bottom line is, you've got to go on market value these days, which is, I don't think 80 mil for a 22-year-old, one of the hottest prospects in Europe, is outrageous. I really don't. Like, the more I thought about it, I'm just like, Man United paid 72 mil for Højlund. You know, like Newcastle want between 120, 150 for Isak. Liverpool have just spent 116 million on Wirtz. Like, that's the going price for a top quality striker these days, 80 mil, personally, in my opinion. So, I have a feeling that Arsenal may rue this decision, because I don't think Gyökeres smashes it up in the Premier League. He'll score goals, definitely, but I'm not. And this isn't new from me, you know what I mean? I know a lot of people have been saying this now, but I was out in front with I don't think Gyökeres is super good. He'll still score goals for you, definitely. You need a striker, it's a fair play. But yeah, for when you're quibbling over 15 mil, I don't know about that. I really don't, personally. Especially mainly because of the way I've been spoken to about Sesko, about how he is the man for this. Like, everything he is what Arteta wants. So yeah, there's also obviously all the rumours that Arteta wasn't. I forget which one was it. Arteta wanted Sesko, yeah, and whoever it is in now as your director of football wanted Gyökeres. So, yeah, yeah, for 15 mil, I don't understand it personally. I really don't get it personally. So, but there must be something else going down. I can't believe it's just a sticking point of 15 million euros personally.
It's much more than that, Garth. I'll stop you there. They want a lot more than that, mate.
One
thing they want. Because I mean, I know you've got your sources, but literally, I've got the Daily Mail article up right here.
Yeah, it's not
good, and they're saying it's 80 mil that they're after.
Yeah, I can't see 40 mil being a problem, and it's not been a problem. When I've done other transfers, do you know what I mean? 40 mil clubs, big clubs.
Oh, you mean the upfront payments? Sorry, right, I'm with you.
Yeah. Clubs putting down 40 million for a top striker is not a problem.
Yeah, you've got to put the bill.
So I don't know what like I said, I don't know what the exact problem was regarding what Leipzig wanted and what Arsenal wanted to pay. I don't know what that is, but I've not heard anything. The Daily Mail said 40 million. I've not seen Ornstein or Fabrizio or anybody I talked to mention 40 million. The problem was that it was high, so we can only
be a problem to spend on as a first down payment. 40 million.
40 mil is half what they're asking for, though. That's what I mean. That would be high. Like they're asking for half of it up front. That's right. And when like with the PSR rules these days, 40 mil is not. Sorry, go on, Gear.
What's the add-ons as well?
No, that was it. It was 65. Again, this is Daily Mail. Obviously, Steve will know much better than me. So I'm going off one report here. The report said it was 65 with 15 of add-ons. And what? 55 with 15 million add-ons that Arsenal wanted to pay, but what Leipzig wanted was another 10 mil up front on that. They wanted it to be 80 mil instead of 70 mil. So 15 add-ons, either 55 or 65. And that's what I mean. Like I say, unless it's Leipzig want 120 mil for him, which he ain't worth it, I don't see 80 mil euros, which is what, 68 English? I don't see 68 million pounds being a ridiculous fee for Sesko. I really don't.
Steve, Go on. Sorry,
so in my mind, there must be something else here. It can't just be that. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Like, if it is just these points, then that's a bit foolish in my mind when this is the man that you've been chasing for 2 years.
Yeah, that's. I'll get to that in a minute. Steve, what's your thoughts on Victor Gyökeres as the man that's going to be leading the line for Arsenal?
Look. I mean, I've always been in. There's pros and cons with both of them. Mm-hmm. And I've always been there. If Sesko come in, there would have been questions, about him, and if Gyökeres comes in, there's also questions.
What's your question for Gyökeres?
Well, the questions is, can he do it in an higher league? Can he fit into Arsenal's style of play? And that remains to be seen. But the pool of strikers out there wasn't much. Arsenal, we hear people keep saying, "Oh, you got to go and buy a striker. You got to go and there's all these strikers." Well, there's not all these strikers out there. There's not. If you're looking, they want a striker who they feel can take them over the next into the next level, which is the next level is winning the Premier League and winning the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right. So the only other person is Alexander Isak, and he's not for sale. So forget about him. So it's Sesko or Gyökeres, and then possibly Osimhen. And Arsenal have never, ever, ever been interested in Victor Osimhen, no matter what reports you've been hearing or from other journalists. Arsenal have never, ever been in for Victor Osimhen, apart from at one point where Edu spoke to him a year and a half ago. So it's been Sesko and Gyökeres all along. It's the only two they can buy. And there's pros and cons between both of them. This pros is Sesko with Gyökeres. You think, yeah, look, he's smashed in all these goals. He's done one day. He does this every single season, which is good if he comes to the Premier League and does it. But he's got to come and do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Haaland whacked all of them in for the Bundesliga. Can he come and do it to Man City? Can he do it in there? We've seen him. He can. Certainly he can. Like, Gyökeres is going to have the same questions answered when he comes to Arsenal. We've got to see what he can offer, what he can do. And he doesn't need to score as many goals as what he's done in Portugal. He only needs 20. It's like those things. I think I don't know who it was that mentioned it. It's that in those moments, you know, in that moment where you've got to put the ball in the back of the net, where where Arsenal had them chances last season, where you think this is the goal, and you
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Saka's missed it. You need that. Guy there, 18 times a season to put that one, then 50 to win the title.
Yeah.
So but there's questions about him. But there would have been questions about Sesko if I would have had the same questions. So now he's here. Yeah, look, I'm not going to complain that he's here. I'm excited that he's here. I think for the long term, you know, you look at Benjamin Sesko as a long-term thing, you know, but if we keep hearing from people, Arsenal got to do this next year, Arsenal got to do that next year, which, I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But if you're looking for instant impact, Gyökeres is your best bet time, then you want Sesko. So I think Arsenal want immediate impact. And I think that's what Berta's, I think, eventually talked Arteta into, because Arteta's always been for Sesko. But I think Berta's come in and he's talked Arteta around. He said, look, this is the guy you want. And hence why he will be starting up front for Arsenal. But there's pros and cons with both of them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my preference has always been Benjamin Sesko. And even to the point I would have taken, I would be happy to take an Ollie Watkins just because of that guarantee. You know that he's going to get those in the Prem. But we've got Gyökeres. My concern is 100% is the levels, bringing up the levels. I think I spoke previously about things have sort of alleviated some of that concern or worry is watching some of his goals in the Championship with Coventry. Not just the kind of where he's sitting, where he's find spaces in the area and he's found that poacher's goal sitting on the shoulder of the defender or just dropping off the defender. They're the goals I'm more interested in because they're the goals that we seem to struggle to score. Strikers being strikers in those. Yeah, look, the only way I'll be able to alleviate the concern is by seeing him play in those games where we see people sitting in deep. One thing that I will say is we do need a goal scorer who is a bit of a flat track bully as well. And he could potentially be that. Because there are those games where we're not scoring against the Fulhams, not scoring against West Ham, not scoring against some of these teams where we should be scoring against, or not getting that extra goal here and there. I think it was in the game against Newcastle, 6 big chances missed, 6 big chances in the game. Similar to a couple of other games in cup games as well. I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying I think he's the answer, but I don't think it's a bad signing. Would I rather have gone with Sesko? Yeah, 100%, and I'm not going to change from that because I think that from what I've seen of Sesko, I think he looks like he could be the real deal, and I don't think it would be a problem in terms of the here and now. One thing that did concern me, I'm not sure how true it was I heard things that Sesko was unsure if he could lead the line for Arsenal at this very moment. Now, if that's true, that's a big worry because if you're worried about being the main man for Arsenal now, before you've even got there, then if you do have them times where you're a bit down in confidence, like you're going to be banging trouble. The Premier League will eat you alive. The press will eat you alive. The fans will eat you alive. It'll only be so long until those people who wanted Victor Gyökeres would be pointing at the fact that he's not scoring. That was my only concern with Benjamin Sesko at the end. But yeah, look, my stance hasn't changed on who I would want. But as with any player that comes through the door at Arsenal, they get fully backed. And yeah, I'm not going to be sitting there and waiting to be the guy that said, "Oh, I said this and I said that." That's not what it's about. So they get my full backing once they sign that contract and they're in the Arsenal shirt. Because I want them to do well. It's not
I've always preferred Sesko, but I'm not disappointed we got Gyökeres. I'm not like, oh,
I can't be. We've got a striker. I can't be disappointed in terms of we need a centre forward. Like, it's a big problem. I fully.
He scored 60 goals last season. You can't be gutted that you've got someone who scored 60 goals. You know, and he does it, and he done it like got scored for like 50 odd the year before, and so many before that. He's like, yeah. So, and he'll score goals. He'll score.
Yeah, one thing I do like is he seems very hungry. He seems hungry.
He backs himself. I like.
He very much does. That's what I'm hearing.
He backs himself. He ain't. It's like when I see him against Man City, he weren't bothered. You know, again, that he was up against Diaz and all these people and his Kyle Walkers. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to run at them. He wanted to take them on. He wanted to fight. Do you know what I mean? He's someone who wants to fight, and that'll be good for Arsenal next season, because that will take their mind off our other players that you know, for like Saka and you know, and Martin Odegaard and Rice and Martinelli and whoever else just comes in. So, yeah, I mean, we scored 90 goals the season before. So, hopefully he's the one that takes them over the line. But like every signing, it's, do you know what I mean? They're all risks, and we all have to wait and see. So, you know, time will tell. But it would have been the same with Sesko. If Sesko, if we could switch it over and it was Sesko who would be talking about now, I would be saying the same things. I would be having questions, and I'll be saying, look, he's got to do this, and you know, well, is he ready? And do you know what I mean? Will he start at the beginning of the season? You know, maybe Havertz will be starting instead of Sesko, because you know he's still got to get used to the Premier League. Maybe Gyökeres is a little bit far ahead. He's 27. Do you know what I mean? Sesko's 22. But yeah, they're all questions that will eventually be answered. So we just have to sit and wait and see.
Yeah, we do. Next up on the transfer news is Manchester United are looking at England. Well, I nearly said former England. England striker.
It sounds
crazy. It sounds crazy saying,
because he is former. He's former. He's never getting another cap for England. Sorry, Keir.
I was going to ask you how you're feeling about this, Garth, but I feel like it's coming through the screen. Do you know what I mean?
Well, listen, Alan Pardew says that there's no difference between Calvert-Lewin and Gyökeres. That's what he said on TalkSport today. So
he did say that.
And I don't like Gyökeres either. So I'm in big trouble. Big trouble.
Maybe that's why he's sitting in the TalkSport studio.
No,
maybe it is. Reportedly a target for Manchester United and Leeds, although newly promoted to Premier League. So I believe they've now have stepped back due to the huge wage demands. I mean, it's huge to Leeds, mental. Probably not to Man United. After joining Everton in 2016, he went on to score 71 goals in 274 appearances for the Toffees. His decision to leave at the end of last season was incredibly difficult. It isn't something that he chose lightly. Everton has been his home since he was 19. It's the potential for me to grow and challenge, to grow in the shape of the player and the footballer I am and the man I am today. Injuries were a problem for Calvert-Lewin last season, where he missed 15 games for Everton. He also has been capped for England 11 times. I think that was all during this, pretty much most of the time during his stint under Carlo Ancelotti. So maybe you can get some tips on how to get the best out of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Garth, Dominic Calvert-Lewin on his day, as Pardew said, he's as good as Victor Gyökeres. He's a very good striker. The problem is, I know you got a lot more information on it than me, that injuries mean that he doesn't really have his day that often. God, your face, mate. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm pleased. I'll try my acting skills here. Am I portraying with nothing but facial features how I feel about Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Because I hope so.
100%. 100%. So, how do you really feel about the signing of, or the potential signing of England international, 11 capped England international Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, let's start with the positives on it. That people who are pro this move will say it's a freebie. He is an England international. On his day, 5 years ago, he was all right. But mate, I mean, like I say, I'm trying to quickly do the maths again. I worked out the other day, and I worked out that he's missed since the 2021-22 season. He's missed 83 or 84 games of football through injury, and most of them, if you look through it here. Hamstring, broken toe, hamstring, knee injury, hamstring,
Wow.
fitness because of the hamstring. Then he had the broken cheekbone, fair enough. Then ill, ankle, hamstring. So ankle and hamstring keep breaking down on him.
His hamstring.
Yeah, do you think, you know what I mean? I mean, this is a dead transfer in my mind. The rumours I'm hearing is he wants what, depending where you look, and Steve, you might have more information on this than me, but it's 120 to 200 grand a week he's asking for. Like, we can't take the gamble. I'm sorry. Listen, if you think he's a good player, fair play. I don't rate Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Never have, even when he was hitting heights, like a bit of a pace merchant. And I don't think his finishing is that good. Don't find the corners. Hasn't got a super hard strike on him. Yeah, I will be devastated. It's too strong a word. I'll be fuming if we sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin, to be quite honest with you. I would, honest to God, and I'm not even playing here, lads. I'd rather just keep Højlund and Zertsky. I swear to you, because we can't take the gamble on another player that can only play once every 3 games, or he's injured for 21 games of the season. I can't be dealing with it. I cannot be dealing with it. So I think it's I saw Steve Alson being like, "Oh, with PSR, we've got to look into the free transfer market." Yeah, we did. So why aren't we going for Jonathan David? I would much rather Jonathan David. You know what I mean? He's out there on a free, but I forget where he's going. I think he's going to Italy, isn't he? I believe.
He's going Juventus. Is it Juventus, isn't it?
Yeah,
Juventus, I believe so, yeah. So because Vlahovic is available. You know, if we're willing to give Dominic Calvert-Lewin anything close to 6 figures a week, then why don't we just go and loan Duran in, like Fenerbahce just did? I know it's 200 grand for him, but listen, unless it's, and I'm being deadly serious, unless it's 40 grand a week, like on a pay-as-you-play deal with the option of a contract at the end where you've proved you're fit. No, mate, I think this is a mental decision, and it shows the state of our club at the moment, that this is where we're looking at stuff like this. I appreciate. I don't get it, because there's all these rumours that we're out there from Buemo, we're out here for this player, and this has come well out of left field. It's almost like, listen, we play Football Manager, and we do it sometimes. There's a player out there on a free, and you're like,
Lionel Morgan.
He was good a few years ago, you know. Maybe, and then you do it, and it was a waste. It was an absolute waste. He'll be on our physio table. So yeah, no, not for me. No offense to him. I don't rate him anyway, even when he's fully fit. So yeah, I will be thoroughly disappointed with that transfer if that's one that materialises, especially if those wages are what they're saying.
Yeah, I do understand your concern. When you're talking about 80 plus games out on the injured, and he wants 200 grand a week, between 125 and 200 grand a week, I think there's got to be some compromise there, and a bit of realization that if you want to be joining Man United, aren't in the best place at the moment, but it's still Man United. If you're going to be joining Man United, like, come on, like, yeah, it's a bit crazy for me. Steve, what's your thoughts on the potential transfer of Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Is he a player that you like? Do you think he would fit in well at Man United if he was fit?
Yeah, I think if he was fit, he had a better injury record, he'd fit into a lot of clubs. But I think his injury record and the age, I think he's getting close to his late 20s now, isn't he, Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
28. Yeah, he'll be 29 middle of the season.
He's 28, so
yeah.
he's going to want a fair contract wherever he goes, because he's saying he'll be looking at it being his last proper move. So he won't be coming cheap, wage wise. So yeah, it don't strike me as as someone Manchester United would be looking at, to be honest with you. He's a risk signing in more ways than one. With his age, his form, his injury record. Yeah, I mean, full respect to other journalists and whoever reported this, but it's not something that I've come across in my day-to-day dealings, talking to people. So if I'm a Man United fan, I wouldn't worry too much, as I can't see this really going any further. I think if he was he is moving, he's more likely. The only team I have heard him being linked to was West Ham, which makes sure they play.
Makes sense.
They do play good wages because they're in London. They're able to with the sponsors that they got, etc. So it's a club where he would get a decent wage.
More their style of play.
Yeah, I don't see. They need a striker as well. You know, they tried to get Ferguson last year, didn't they? That he's going back to Brighton.
Didn't they get him on loan? Didn't they?
Sorry.
Did they get him on loan?
Yeah, they got him on loan, but he hardly played, didn't he? I don't think he scored a goal.
Because he's a myth. That's why Evan Ferguson's a myth.
Yeah.
Could you imagine though? That was nearly a £70-80 million signing.
Yeah, you know.
But another young man, a young player who's just gets played by injuries, and it's a lot more sad of someone like Ferguson because he is so young, and it's quite concerning. You know how his future is going to pan out because he's been like continuously injured now. I mean, he's 20 or something like that. I mean, he's been continuously injured for the last 2.5 years. We've hardly seen him, which is sad. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't worry too much on the Man United fans that don't want him. I can't see this happening. As I say, this, I've not come across it. So yeah, but the player himself, and for instance, if West Ham took him, if he can get his form back, could be a good signing for them. Do you know what I mean? He could be a good signing. He's very handy on his day. England have taken a look at him a few times, so there's obviously something about him. He's a battler of centre forward. He works hard, and for his sake, you hope that he can overcome his injury problems and he can go to another club and he can get back to some of the form that we see in Everton's early days when he was whacking in 15, 20 goals a season for them. So, but yeah, Man United, I wouldn't. Man United fans, I wouldn't worry too much. Those that are thinking that he's going to be leading the line next season for them.
The worst thing with Calvert-Lewin is I don't even see him I know he is, but I see him more as like a Rashford style player as well, like Rashford light. I mean, I'm just having a look at his stats as well. I'm listening. If I was any club, I'd stay away from him. Last 4 seasons, 5 goals, 2 goals, 8 goals, 3 goals, and last season he got 26 games, 3 goals from 26 games. I know Everton were doing poor. Listen. His wages are the major sticking point for anyone. If I was a West Ham fan, I'd be worried. I know that's the gamble in it. Can you get him back to that player when he got those 11 caps back in the 2018, 2019, 2020 season? It
was Ancelotti.
15,
time there.
And that's the only time he's ever done it. 2 seasons worth, where over 2, what's that? So 80 games, he got 36 goals, which ain't nothing to sniff at, but it still ain't magnificent. And that was when he was injury free. He's a pace merchant that's lost his pace. I don't mean pace merchant in the bad way. I mean one of his key attributes is his pace, and he's lost his pace. I feel if I was a fan of any club, I can see West Ham working, but I would be worried on those wages and that injury record. It is where I'll leave it with Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Injury record, I think I don't mind Calvert-Lewin. There was that time, like I said, I keep saying under Ancelotti, where he himself said, they both said, Ancelotti said he needs to shoot more. I've told him he needs to shoot more. And you could see it from Dominic Calvert-Lewin in his game. He was shooting more. He was getting in and around the areas. He was keeping within the width of the box. He was being taught to be a classic striker. And Ancelotti did a lot of good for him. And I think that's where he got the majority of his caps. I don't understand why that would drop off, though. I know you change coaches and they want you to play a different style of play, but he knew the way he was getting goals was by shooting more. And I just don't see him shoot enough. He doesn't seem to get in those areas enough. And now he seems to be made into a bit of a lump striker, which I think was not really his full game. He had more than that, and now you're seeing his best games is when he's sort of just up there and knocking it on and being a nuisance. And Man United need more than that. They can get that from. I agree, Garth. They can get that from Rasmus Højlund, someone who's a nuisance. You need someone who is a goal scorer. He's someone who wants to score goals, who wants to get goals, and knows his craft in that position. Whereas I think you're a bit stuck with Højlund in not really being able, not learning his craft properly.
So there's a lot of things that go in. There's a lot of things that go in a player's favour when you come to the end of your contract and you see it out. We know this, but you've got to be a certain type of player.
Yeah, how much are you going to pay for Calvert-Lewin anyway?
If you're a player on form and you're doing well and you haven't got no injuries, then you can go to your next club and say, well, look, here I am. I'm on a free. What are you going to give me, mate? Do you know what I mean? But the thing with Calvert-Lewin, I'm almost 99% certain this guy will 100%. I've gone from 99% to 100% now. We'll have to take a wage cut. Definitely, he will have to, because he will just be sitting on the shelf, and he won't be playing any football next season.
Yeah, and he'll be 100 grand. He was on 100 grand a week at Everton.
So
he needs to be careful.
So if someone said if he goes to look at 100 grand, I'm on my last contract. I want this. I want that. Then he's not going to be playing football next season, because clubs are going to just say, well, look at your record over the last few years. Look at your injury record. Do you know what I mean? We're not. This is what we're offering you. Do you know what I mean? We can move on and go and get a younger someone else or another signing. There's plenty about you. So look, we're willing to take a gamble, but we're talking 60 grand a week now. Do you know what I mean? We're talking 2-year contract, and I think he'll have to accept that. I think he'll end up accepting something like that.
I think
because I don't think he'll have a choice.
Yeah, he has to. If he's smart.
I reckon I agree. In the perfect words, I 100% hope you're right, Steve. That he has to do it. But there's always someone like, isn't there? There's always.
Well, yeah. There's someone. Yeah.
If they're willing to play, but if the agent's good enough, he'll find someone. You know what I mean? If I was him, I would seriously consider maybe offering yourself out to Saudi Arabia. And I used to say that as a joke, but. Some warm weather, and trust me, as someone who's got chronic knee injury, it does help. The warmth does help. I'm not even playing, you know what I mean? So, like Saudi Arabia or America or like Jesse Lingard, South Korea, somewhere where you can go out and be almost a figurehead. That's not the wrong word I'm looking for here, but you know what I mean? Like
just a name, just a name.
Yeah,
just paying,
exactly.
Not paying for him to play, just paying for
exactly.
Your name.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if he is after 100 grand plus, then like you said, Steve, I can't see anyone being silly enough to take that on, realistically. No. But there's always someone. Like I'm trying to think of maybe one of the clubs that comes up, you know what I mean? And then they rue that because they give him a 4-year contract. They get relegated that season, and they got Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the books, broken down for 4 years.
Injuries.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
that's the thing.
You made me feel better, Steve, by saying you ain't heard nothing, mate. That makes me feel. No, it's not definitely not happening. Obviously, nothing's definite.
Oh no, nothing's definite in the transfer world.
But it makes me happy. That does. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Right. All right. Chelsea are expecting offers of. Well, sorry, we're into the transfer updates now. Chelsea are expecting offers of more than £50 million for their 23-year-old England international Nolly Madueke, who has agreed personal terms with Arsenal over a move. We'll speak about this one quickly and get in the comment sections for anyone who else is there who's interested. Nolly Madueke, Steve, a transfer that. To say it's split opinion is an understatement. A lot of people are calling for Mikel Arteta and Andrea Better's head over this potential signing. What's your thoughts on the player, Madueke?
Do you know what? I ain't got many thoughts on the player because I must admit, I haven't seen much of him. You know, so you and Garth may be able to comment better on the player. And I might be able to comment a little bit more from what I'm hearing, he's from people that he's decent. and he's one of these players who could turn into something, a little bit special, a little bit tasty.
Yeah.
But he's one of these players who's a might be, and let's see what happens. But look, I think he's had 9 odd caps now for England, so I'm sure there must be something about him. Chelsea seem to be doing their usual, we don't want him, you can have him now, because that's what they generally do, didn't it? When someone leaves them, all of a sudden 1 minute they're great, the next minute they're, and all laughing and joking that all of a sudden this player is absolutely rubbish and you're getting some kind of dud. Well, thanks for Havertz and Jorginho, they were duds, weren't they? But it's look, I mean, I say you and Garth might be able to comment on a player, but if you want to talk about like the deal, but I can't get my head around the actual deal.
Yeah,
I can't. Sometimes you just sit there and you think, what's the thinking around this? And look, he's predominantly right-sided.
Yeah.
I think he played. I'm sure I looked it up, and Garth might be able to look it up as well. I think he played once, or someone told me he played once for Chelsea on the left. So I can't see him coming in to play on the left-hand side, or Arteta thinking, "Oh, this guy's going to be well handy on the left."
No.
So he's just predominantly a Saka backup. And if you're going to play 30 million, for instance, I had Chelsea want 50, but if Arsenal are going to play 30 million for a backup to Saka, and he's happy with that, then fantastic, perfect. Yeah. That's a lovely little deal for 30 million to someone to come in and not so much be competition, but help Saka out. Do you know what I mean? And play in thingy games. But even then, I think to myself, well, Martinelli's can play on the right, and then we know we're in. Then you look at the rumours about, or a little bit more than rumours about Izzy and Rodrigo on the left. So putting everything together, I can't get my head around the deal at all. It doesn't make any sense apart from Saka backup. So look, I don't know if Bert is doing his playing one against the other. Going to sort of clubs, talking to players, getting personal terms, because we haven't spoken to Chelsea yet. Arsenal have not had any negotiations or conversations, or dialogue hasn't started with the Chelsea Football Club, as far as I know. Well, as this pod's being recorded, and anyway, so maybe it's just putting one out there, getting personal terms, and then sort of get somebody else. I don't know, playing one off against the other, because it's it don't sound right, because it sounds a bit off. But as I say, it's a strange one. I mean, 50 million to come in, I don't know where he's going to go, or what he's going to do, or where he's going to play. I don't know where he's going to fit in. So that's about my view at the minute.
All right, Garth. What's your view on the player?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we spoke about this. I like him. I think he's a very good player. I think Steve, you hit the nail on the head about him in the start of what you were saying. He's got potential to be very, very good. He's got. Sorry, I just had it in my head. God, I've lost it now. 30 goal contributions for Chelsea in 90 games, so 1 in 3. It's a solid record, and he's not a star owner. He, in my opinion, is their best winger. I don't understand what they're up to. He's miles better than Pedro Neto. He's miles better than Pedro Neto. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, people know what I think of Pedro Neto. I think he's rubbish. So, I'm trying. I don't know much about this Gittins, but I haven't seen enough of him to be like. He's
not a Manchester City product.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. No, this is Chelsea having to sell players on. They're looking for 50 mil. They signed for 25. They want to double their money on the books because that's what they've got to do. That's what they've got to do. It's all of this is going to be Chelsea forever now. Not forever, but this is going to be their business model. They've got to move bods on for a profit, otherwise they can't sign more. They've got to move players off the books with their contracts, or they can't sign more. So I think it'd be a great signing for Arsenal. I think honestly, he doesn't play left wing at all. Really, I think it's something like in his entire career, it's like 10 games in his entire career. Last season was like once. So no, he isn't coming in as your left winger. He's coming in as backup to Saka. Obviously, that opens up the conversation about Unwaneri and what his minutes on the pitch, but that's a different thing. But I think this is the sort of player. These are the signings that take you over the line when Saka's injured. And then you've got Madueke. Honestly, I think he's a quality bowler. I really do. So 50 mil, little steep for him, I think.
Yeah.
For a backup, anyway.
Yeah, but he's a backup to you. That's what I'm saying. The way if Man United still played wingers, I would not even blink at 50 mil for Madueke. But because it's a backup for you, it's a lot to spend on what you're talking as a rotation option. But realistically, in today's market, he's a current England international. He's playing week in, week out ish for one of the biggest teams in the land. 50 mil is not an outrageous price.
Yeah, that's 50 mil retail price. We want a discount because
that's what I said.
Yeah, we this is where Berta comes into his own. Berta knows that Chelsea need to get rid of a player. Chelsea know that they've got there's no. Oh no, we want to keep him. Oh, we actually no. Maresca's already come out and said if a player doesn't want to be here, wants to leave. Again, you should be keeping your manager shut right there. Arteta learned the hard way by talking too much in his early days about players, and then eventually we couldn't get any money for him because everyone knew we wanted to sell him.
Today, bro. Yeah. I literally saw that quote again today about Arteta, if they want to leave, they can leave, or whatever it was that he said.
I was just like, all right, cheers. That was silly. Shouldn't have said anything. I've got the same stance as Garth. I like the player. My only ever thing against the transfer was potentially that was more so. I don't think it will happen. I don't really believe it because is he going to come in to be a backup or rotation with Saka? It's backup, but that
is what it is.
Seems like it's the case. It seems like this is the case that he would, because my thought was Arteta likes versatility. He can only really play one position. He's a right winger. Will he come in to be in the rotation squad player with Saka being the main man? It seems like he's happy with that. Now, if he's happy with that, I'm there. Then we'll be talking about the price. It's between.
He can play striker as well, by the way, lads. I don't know if anyone said that.
In that fourth line. Again, I don't mind that. I'm not against that. I'm not against that either. Playing off the striker with we needed a goal and got to shove two up front, and I'm not against any of that. It's the price point now. You've got to be getting in between 30 to 45 million top end. I think 45 million top end, and the 5 million add-ons.
If under 40 mil for me, lads, is a bargain. Honestly, in today's market,
you've got to try and push that though. Like Chelsea,
100% you have, Like you said, it shows the worth of the man making the deals now. It shows the worth. If he can get that deal under 35 mil, that's a bargain, lads. A bargain, honestly, no joke.
And we've seen some of these deals already in this. 5 million for Kepa. We've seen Norgard 11 mil. Like we're seeing some really good deals at the moment. This is where if you can get these sorts of deals, like a player who's could go either way, but I don't think he's going to go the wrong side of like the other side. It can go, he's where he is now and he doesn't really progress much, or he can be a serious player. I think it'd be silly for Arsenal fans to turn up their nose to this because he's the next Chelsea player. I think it's childish. Get over it. It's not like it suits players to not want to move out of London if they live in London. Of course, you're going to, if there's options there, of course, you're going to try and buy from another London club. We're not going to get players from Tottenham. Like, that's just not going to happen. Crystal Palace is an option, but then you obviously, the level's going to be dropping. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to buy from Chelsea, there's a certain level that you're buying from. Like, so, I don't buy into this as a Chelsea reject nonsense.
Plus, they've got 400 players as well. If you don't, just on average, 1 every 5 transfers is going to be Chelsea because of how many goddamn players they've got. What
about Man City? All these Man City youngsters that don't make it at Man City and then end up coming out elsewhere. They Man City rejects like Gittins and Frimpong. These all Man City rejects. No,
I mean, none of the players you bought from Chelsea have been flops. And when was the last time Chelsea finished above you? You know what I mean? 5 years ago, 4 years ago now. Like, I get what people might be like, because I think people are upset that, like, because a lot of people want Kudos, don't they, from West Ham, and they think what's happening is Chelsea is selling Madueke, and they're going to use that money to go and buy Kudos, and I'm a bit like,
Yes, that's Tottenham. Tottenham are looking more advanced with Kudus. And I saw someone today and said, forget about Madueke, pay the extra 20 million, be a big club, and sign Kudus for 60. I was like, huh? First of all, Kudus ain't that guy. Get over it. I know he is a typical Twitter loving transfer. He has moments. There's attributes in there which are really good. In certain games, he turns up. But that's it. I don't want to play. I'd rather have a player who's consistently hitting 7s than a player who is hitting a 9 every 6 or 7 games. Because there's something else. There's an issue there. And we ain't got the time to be having players who have got that issue. They want to turn up against Man United and Man City, but they don't want to turn up against Fulham, Everton, West Ham, and Leicester. We don't need that. And for 60 mil, 50 mil, no. Like, please wake up, people. It's just no. There's levels to it. So
but Arsenal did have a little interest. You know, they did ask. Not talking to West Ham, but they did ask. You know, the details of what they was looking for Kudus. You know, earlier in the window, because they wanted that type of player. Yeah, they are looking for that type of player. But obviously, we're probably going to get to it. Arsenal have already found the player they want.
Yeah, well, look.
I think Madueke's better than Kudos. I really do. And I mean that. I really like that. Listen, I've been wrong many times on players. You know what I mean? I might be wrong on Gyökeres, Calvert-Lewin, Madueke, but I honestly think he's a better player than Kudos. I think Kudos was rubbish last year when you really look into his performances. I think Kier's right. He turns up when he wants to. He's one of those players.
I agree about the attitude.
He's a far better option. Obviously, Kudos can play across that front line, can't he? Which is, I know what Arteta likes, because he can play left, centre, right, and top, like striker. But yeah, no, if you're just looking for a right winger, and he's willing, that's the bit this that we're all saying. If he's willing to be rotation to Saka, it's a banging signing. You know, the only thing, like someone did say, maybe Saka's getting some surgery or something this year. This is why you've gone out and got him. You know,
Saka put up a video earlier today, didn't he? Yeah. He's back. He's dropping a little reminder of who's the star boy. Everyone's getting excited about these other potential transfers. And he's like, don't mess about, people. I'm still about. I think I looked at the stats from last season for Noni Madueke and Kudus, and I think Madueke's was a little bit better than Kudus's, and Kudus has played more games, I think. See if I can put it up quickly. But
can I ask a question while you're picking up? Like, is there any realm of possibility that Saka's moving over to the left? Is that a thing that could possibly happen?
I don't see it.
No.
Because he played left back. That's why the reason I'm asking. You know what I mean? Because and Martinelli's not. Is it more what they're thinking? Not moving, but could Saka be deployed on the left? You know what I mean? If it comes to and then you have Madueke playing on the right, like in those games where Arteta feels like Martinelli isn't up to the standard of that game.
No, I think he's been too successful on the right over the last 5 years.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Yeah, don't mess with it. You know what I mean? If it ain't broke, so that's fair.
Yeah.
I think the signings or the links to players that you're seeing with Arsenal now are showing more so that it's not going to be round pegs in square holes. It's going to be, we're going to get the player in. We'd rather have the extra player of that quality. If they're willing to be in the squad, if they're willing to be a part of the squad, we'd rather bring in a quality of that level who is in that position. Yes,
it seems like to me what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is buy players who are first team players.
Yeah,
and try and convince them with the project. Tell them what we want to do. Tell them what they're up. You know what our plans are for the next year, 2 years, and say, look, we want you to come in. We haven't got no 1 to 11. We've got a 1 to 20, and we want you to be part of it because if you're Arteta selling it and Bertie, you're saying because we want to go and rule the world. And we want you to be part of it.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's-
exactly.
Its own problems of you have to then actually succeed in being a team that wins things. Obviously, yeah.
But I don't mind that. I'm past saying, oh, we didn't have this or we didn't have that, or when we've lost a couple of injuries, oh, we did. I'm over that. It's been years since I've been able to say we've got the players in every position. We're not missing here. We're not missing there. It's been, and I'm talking Wenger years, when we were winning back then. When it felt like we had two for every position. And yes, it wasn't the same quality that we've got 1 and 2 that we're looking to get now. But there were still players that can come in 3 or 4 games and do a job. We lost that for years when we reduced.
Kids talking about 2004, by the way.
I'm talking about when Edu was there. When Edu was there, mate. Like when we had a strike force of Bergkamp, Kanu, Davor-Suker, and Thierry Henry. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is what I'm talking about. Levels.
Yeah, I think maybe Wakey is being looked upon as permanently right. Saka. And
I can't see. Yeah. He's got the right Madueke.
But not only that, because of who else we're in talks to on for the left. So that's why he's prominently for that right hand side and nothing else. Literally that.
And I mean, and if you get them other ones as well, that'll be honestly, you're going to make me sick.
35 games, 9 goal contributions in all competitions. Madueke, 45 games, 16 goal contributions in all competitions. Yeah. And in the Premier League, 32 games, 12 goal contributions, whereas his Kudus was Premier League, 32 games, 8 contributions.
He don't come across to me, Kudus, as a team player. He don't come across to me as an Arsenal player. I think no. He's somewhere who I like, who I admire, and who I've watched and I've enjoyed watching at certain times to see and seen him play. He's a bit of a maverick and he does some nice things, you know, to look at on the eye. But he's not someone I'd be sort of looking at bringing in.
Yeah, he's got good attributes, but not for me. Exclusive, thank you very much there, Simon. Exclusive, Anthony Elanga to Newcastle. Here we go. Deal in place, club to club with Nottingham Forest for a £55 million agreement. Garth is saving. How much did you let go of Elanga for?
Not saving, mate. Got that 20% sell on boy. That's a jiggle, mate. That's what that is. That's a jiggle for it. Mate, I was just reading this. We sold him for 15. But what I was just thinking is Madueke's better than Anthony Elanga. Madueke's better than Anthony Elanga. And that's why if you can get him for under 40 mil, it's a bargain, lads. But there's good player, Elanga. Newcastle probably do well there, but that's weird to me that they're willing to drop 50 bucks. I think it's 55 add-ons in it, Steve. Like, I
mean, I haven't been following this transfer, but from what I hear, it's that what you said. But it's a very Newcastle signing, isn't it?
It is,
It's a very Newcastle signing. You know, if you wouldn't have put the name of the club there, and you would have thought he's just gone for 55 million to a club in the Premier League, you probably would have half a chance of guessing that he would have been Newcastle. Who was the guy that they bought? Who was really decent. He was quite decent. He plays out on the Harvey Barnes, very very Harvey Barnes-ish. Do you know what I mean?
It's very
Newcastle-ish sign. Anthony Gordon-ish.
Holistic. It feels like they're purposely going for like homegrown. Knocking that, but 55 million on Anthony Elanga's. So I didn't think I'd ever see, but fair play. He's done really well since he's got Nottingham Forest. He's consistent, very very quick, and he's added a little bit to his game. Which fair play to him. Eddie Howe will be able to get. Eddie Howe's good with those sorts of players, though. He's good at getting something out of these sorts of players. I wouldn't say he's got too much to his game, but look, if you've got that pace, you're always a danger in the Premier League. Speaking of Kudus, Tottenham and West Ham remaining talks over a deal for Garnaer. for Ghana midfielder Mohamed Kudus after West Ham rejected an initial £50 million for the 24-year-old. See, it's going to be more than 50 million. Like, yeah, never. Borussia Dortmund are looking to extend the loan of Chelsea midfielder Carney Chukwuemeka. The English youngster's 40 million release clause making the permanent deal unlikely. It's 9 o'clock, clearly.
9 o'clock, people.
9 o'clock. Chelsea need to raise more than 60 million in sales to be able to register the new signings for this season's Champions League. Would there be any impact to the British contingent if Chelsea were unable to register their teams for the Champions League going forward? Would that impact us? It would, wouldn't it? Surely.
I would. Yeah, I'd assume so. I've been lost touch with what Chelsea do. They probably find a loophole that where they can get around it.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah.
You would have thought. You would have thought so. You would have thought it would. Yeah.
You presume the next team down gets it, and then everyone moves up one, don't they? So whoever finished in 9th or whatever it is gets into the Conference League. Like, you know what I mean? As it stands now. Because when they finished 5th, they got in the Champions League through league position, did they? Chelsea
came 4th.
4th, yeah.
So they got in through league position, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah.
So everyone will just move up one, won't they? And then whoever finished one place below in the Conference League and didn't make the Conference League will get into the Conference League, I presume, is how it would work. So come on, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Get them getting kicked out.
Crossed will go all the way down to 15th.
Yeah, no. We don't need no Conference League. Listen, I ain't someone who I ain't someone who disrespects football competitions, but Man United, the last thing we need right now is our end of Uzbekistan on a Thursday night, mate, when we got to play on a Sunday. Our 5 kickoffs and stuff. No. Next year,
I don't think Chelsea even played their main first team for the first 4 rounds of the competition.
They didn't even have Cole Palmer registered, did they? For the groups for the league stage.
Crystal Palace are closing on the sign of Ajax 27-year-old left back Borna Sosa for 2 million. He's not a bad player, Sosa, from what I can remember. I think a few years ago, City were sniffing around him. Roma are interested in 24-year-old Brighton and Denmark midfielder Matt O'Reilly. Nigeria striker Victor Osimhen is prepared to join Galatasaray, where he was on loan last season, but the Turkey club will have to pay Napoli 65 million release clause and are not prepared to take any less. Surely he's not got that enough in his contract. A year left,
It's no option on nothing. It's 1 year, I believe, and they're still holding out at 65 mil.
Still just not having it.
That's got to be one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for here? They hate each other, in football history, Napoli and Osimhen now. Napoli had just been spiteful. It's like, no, you're staying. You ain't going for nothing less than 65 mil. No one wants you. Tough. You're gonna rot. Crazy. Because no one's paying 60. That'd be mental to pay 65 for him right now. So
I agree. Former Manchester United defender Gabriel Hensey has joined Arsenal's coaching staff.
Good player. Hates us though, don't he? Gabriel Hensey is a really underrated left back, centre back. He is
very underrated.
But do you remember the story about
Liverpool? He wanted to join Liverpool, didn't he?
Liverpool, and Fergie was like, obviously not, mate. You can go Real Madrid. And for some reason, he hates us for selling him to Real Madrid. So, but listen, I've got no bad words to say.
Why didn't he join Liverpool at the time? Was it to an end at Man United?
Did we just get ever in? I can't remember now. I really can't remember, apart from he really wanted to join Liverpool. Maybe he supported him. You know what I mean? Obviously, we don't know what he's about personally. So, but I think we wanted to sell him. That was the whole point. We did want to sell him. Liverpool probably offered him more money, thinking about it now. And that's where he wanted to go. And Fergie was like, obviously not. You're well good. You ain't going to Liverpool. No, you can go Real Madrid. And then, he got well upset about that. So he don't speak very kindly about me. The fans, he speaks kindly about us. But Man United, the institution, he has not got good things to say about us. So, but I'm a good coach, brother. A very good coach. What I understand.
Apparently, Arteta tried to get him a few years back. But he was one of the main jobs somewhere. And now he's coming in as coach for Arsenal, which is good, taking over from Carlos Cuesta. Arsenal completed the signing of Martin Zuba-Mendy this week. He wears the number 36 shirt. Steve, Martin Zuba-Mendy, long-awaited signing of the Spanish international midfielder. How much of an impact do you think he could have at Arsenal?
Well, again, time will tell. But yeah, another player. I'm really excited by. I've wanted this player for a long while. We've spoken about him on the show for at least a couple of years now. I know Arteta's wanted him for that amount of time, and he really rates him, and he's looking at him as being that player who's the glue, who's going to hold everything together. So that will allow players like Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, to go sort of not roam free, but get forward more, assist more, score more goals. He's someone that can do that. He does it for Spain. He's done it excellently for Real Madrid. He's not someone who's going to score goals. He's not someone who's going to do assists, but he's someone who's going to ping it about, play the ball in the right areas, and intercept the ball when need be. He's one of the best players in European football in that position. So yeah, a great signing. As I say, I look at him as the glue of what we've been looking for a long while. Looking so that allowing Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice now to get forward and score more goals, more assists, which I think that's why Arteta's bring him in. Partey was there; he used to do it, but he's not as good as doing it as what this guy is. So, and he's obviously a lot mobile, gets around the pitch a lot more, and a little bit more intelligent. So, yeah, excited to see him. He's going to be flying out to pre-season with the boys on Thursday. So yeah, hopefully we'll see him in the pre-season in a few games. But yeah, really, really excited to see him. So he'll be that player sitting in that number 6 position. And yeah, people were just talking about his height. He's not tall, he's slight, but I think his intelligence and makes up for that. I don't get it. I mean, he's got Gabriel and Saliba behind him, and Declan Rice, who's plays number 6.
Would those people be Liverpool fans, though, Steve? Is that the question? Are they Liverpool fans saying he's small and slight?
Probably,
do you know what?
Saliba, Gabriel, and Declan Rice ain't small and slight. Do you know what I mean? So yeah,
I feel like people. I don't know. Are these people actually? Have people seen Martin Zuba-Mendy? Because I didn't know too much about Martin Zuba-Mendy, and then I saw him in the Euros. Yeah,
he's 6 foot. Sorry, mate. He's just under 6 foot. He's 5'11" and a bit.
A little bit of a build up there, Gar.
Sorry, brother.
Cut down there, man.
Yeah. But
I'm so sorry.
I heard. I was watching. Who was it? Stuart Robson and Steve Nicol talk about him on ESPN, and yeah, it baffles me the football knowledge of ex-professionals in this day and age. It's just like I was like listening to talk about Martin Zuba-Mendy, and I was like, what?
No,
what
I mean, yeah, because I saw Martin Zuba-Mendy. Oh, did you want to take over, Gar? I saw Martin, and I didn't know too much about him. And then I saw him in the Euros, yeah, and I thought to myself, this guy's a bit bigger than I thought he would. Like, he's got more of a presence. Like, he's not small. Like, he's not small. So he's got
a little head, didn't he? He's just like he's got a little head. I think he's deceiving.
He's 5'9", mate, and he's not small. He's not small. He's not a small guy. He's not a Cazorla. Like, people need to get that out of their heads. I think they're going to be surprised when they actually see him on a Premier League football pitch with other Premier League players. He's not gonna be that little small guy.
The Spanish players aren't usually like south. You know what I mean? Like even players like a Mata, who you would like isn't like Juan Mata. You're not thinking of him as like a big strong player. He was still a bit of a unit at the end of the day. Even if they're slight, like Cazorla, they still know how to handle themselves on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing.
He's not a small guy. No, I'm not saying Berta's big, but he's not a small person. He's not. He's actually like a little bit built. I'm not saying he's tonk, but he's not. He's not how people are picturing him. He's not how people are picturing him. Like he weighs $105. Like he's not. He's not that guy. There's more to him. So yeah.
But Spanish players are like that. I mean, I'm not comparing at all, so don't. People shout down my throat that I'm trying to compare. But Iniesta and Xavi and like Cesc Fabregas and Cazorla.
Aggregators are going to get on to you now, Steve. You just said
it wasn't big, was
Xavi.
Small, weren't they? Slight.
But you went big. Xavi, Iniesta, Fabregas. You went with the big boys. I like that, mate. I like that.
Yeah, but I say I'm not comparing. No,
you absolutely did. Clip it. Don't put any context in it.
You absolutely did. He said. Other players either coming or on close on the verge of signing. Keppel, we spoke about that previously. A very good deal for us, $5 million.
Yeah, good signing.
And Christian Norgard, another player who I think is going to go under the radar. I think
good
signing.
It's a good signing.
I like this signing. Like he's like a Xhaka from Timu. Like he's a solid player. He's got a good passing range in him. His forward passing is meant to be very, very good in terms of he's very direct. Likes to get that ball moving quickly, which is the direction we need to go. We've been over the last couple of seasons after that really blockbuster season we've slowed our game down a lot. And it's impacted the way you play. We still played well, but it's just not the same. We need to speed that up, and I think Zubimendi coming in will do that. And I think the backup of Norgard, where he is more direct, he is more forward thinking than the party. I think that's going to be.
He'll probably come on when you want to sort of hold that lead out, when you're 1-0 up or you're 2-1 up, and Zubimendi's been running his nuts off for 80 minutes or 75 minutes, and then they'll bring him or Norgard on. And you think, oh yeah, this is handy, isn't it? Having someone 6'2", Premier League, who's done it and been there and got the t-shirt.
Another player that also being linked to in the recent days is news, this back and forth, this kiss chase with Brazilian international Rodrigo. A while back, it was reported that Arsenal were interested. Florian Plettenberg picked it up. Another person who online who said that this deal was very much happening. Another journalist called Kiki Sanchez been talking about this transfer quite in depth on his page as well. A transfer which I've been excited about since day one. I've been following it since there was even I think it's Simon Collins asked Mikel Arteta the question about when he came out with a question about Rodrigo and then quickly rephrased it in a way which is very good because he knows that Mikel Arteta does not like to speak about specific players. But then because he did rephrase that, Arteta was able to answer the questions on the players of that level, meaning Rodrigo, and I've never seen Mikel Arteta sweat so much. He was gulping his drink, he was pausing, and from that day, I've been like, there's something in this. There's something in this. And now we're at a pass. Steve, what's the latest you've heard on the Rodrigo's potential?
Well, we've come to a standstill, but not a bad standstill, like in a lot of transfers when talks come to a standstill. Arsenal have been in talks with Rodrigo's agent. They've also been in talks with Real Madrid. I think the biggest report, reputable report that I've seen is the one that come from The Athletic, from their Spanish correspondent, Mario Cartanaga. I probably butchered the surname, but he's come out and said that Arsenal have had a couple of conversations with Real Madrid. They are willing to sell. A fee has been given to Arsenal of what's thought to be around 85 million euro. And if Rodrigo wants to go and he wants to leave, then they're happy to sell him to Arsenal. And as I said, conversations have happened with his agent, but Rodrigo's out concentrating on the Club World Cup at the moment, where he hasn't. He's had a handful of minutes in the games that he's played for Real Madrid. Quite a few times he's not had no minute. Last game he just sat on the bench, did nothing. So something's going on.
Yeah.
And and there's also a report saying yes, he would like to join Arsenal if he leaves, but this is something that's a lot farther ahead and not being talked about. This could really happen.
Mm-hmm.
This could really happen just due to the fact that who said it, who's reported on it, people very close to Madrid, as I say, very reputable people like Mario Cartaneghi, from the Athletic, but it's all down to Rodrigo. If Rodrigo says that he wants the league, Arsenal will pay the money, and Arsenal's spoken to Grid and they know the fee. So, but it's just in Rodrigo's in now. I've reported that it's in Rodrigo's hand now, and everything else is more or less done. They need to talk to Rodrigo. They need to talk personal terms still with Rodrigo. And the most important thing is he's got to turn around and he wants to say he wants to leave the club. But this is something that will be probably done later in the window, sort of the back end, I would have thought, and because there's a lot of conversation still to be had with Rodrigo if he indeed decides to leave. But it's pretty clear he's not in their plans. I mean,
no, he's not.
He's played like 10 minutes in about
27 minutes.
I mean,
in this form, I think it is.
Yeah, and they're playing Jude Bellingham on the right wing instead of him, and he's sitting on the bed watching him playing, even in the position that he don't like. And on the left, do you know what I mean? He's never going to play on the left because Vinicius Junior plays on the left. At Arsenal, the left is open. We want to strengthen our left, and Rodrigo's been targeted, and that's why the importance of getting the striker right and the payment structures right all rolls into this Rodrigo deal.
Yeah, which I think would be the biggest transfer we've had.
If you get like if you've got a front three of Rodrigo, Gyökeres and Saka, then jeez. With everything else that we got, when you look at our defence, the goalkeeper and the midfield and the players that are on the benches, that is immensely strong. Immensely strong.
Go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you know, but is there anyone else interested? Because I keep seeing, actually interested. I keep seeing people say PSG, and I'm like, surely PSG don't need him. They've just got Kvaratskhelia, haven't they? Like, they don't need a left player.
Yeah. He's not going to want to go to a club and play on the right, is he, again?
You'll get agents.
Man City. I've seen Man City saying, rumours about Man City are interested in him as well.
That was an old one I saw. I've not seen a recent Man City, but Man City was definitely a club that was... out and about.
You should be hopeful because I'm not trying to put any jinx on it. What I'm saying is I don't really see anyone else's name really.
No, I saw Chelsea, but they've got to sell players. They've got.
You know what I mean? So it does feel like Arsenal. Oh, it makes me hurt, but it does feel like Arsenal's the destination if he does leave because the other clubs I've seen mentioned. I can't believe that that A, they need him, and B, that they're going to sign him. You know what I mean? I saw Liverpool mentioned.
He wants to play on the left. He wants to play left side. He wants to play on the left. And because last season he got hardly any game time at all. Do you know what I mean? For Ancelotti, he was sitting on the bench then. And just put out on the right. He's not being used at all. And it's funny, while all this talk's been going on, it's been while the World Club thing been going on.
Yeah.
And he's not getting many minutes at all. He's just sitting on the bench. And it's like there's something going on behind the scenes. And it's like Arsenal said, well, look, you know, when we talk to him, they want to sell him. Rodrigo might said, right, look, when I'm at the World Cup, I'll come back. I'll come and talk to you. And Arsenal saying maybe, well, hold on then. We don't want you running about, you know, knocking yourself silly. Otherwise, we'll move on to someone else. You know,
I think it's Arsenal have to wait on Rodrigo to see what happened. I think they were waiting to see how much he played in this Club World Cup. And I know we take it with a pinch of salt, this Club World Cup, but it is an indication when a manager's just coming to a club of what he sees his team as. And especially as you get into the latter stages as well. Or some of the more bigger Real Madrid fan accounts that were saying, I love Rodrigo.
That's a great point.
He is not a part of the best starting lineup in this team. Are the Gyökeres in that team? there's other players that get in that position above him on that right who are better on the right-hand side than he is. And in all honesty, you can't, like, if he wants to stay and be that backup, then great, but he doesn't. So it's up to Arsenal now to strike while there's a little bit of vulnerability in there, a little bit of like he's questioning whether he wants to do that before he thinks, do you know what? Actually, I can see a potential, or even worst case scenario, there's an injury to a player and he does actually end up staying. Strike while the iron's hot. He's interested. His head's turned. Real Madrid are saying they're open to an offer. We've got the money. I believe that all of this stuff we've done, the Kepa, the Norga, all these little bits behind, not going for Sesko for the potential. If that's because you want to get Rodrigo, then I think that's more of the statement than getting Sesko. In all honesty, because I think
definitely
will be that difference. And I think when I've spoken to you quite a lot about the Leao, for me, the Rodrigo is the kind of player I want because it's different to the Martinelli. And I know you'll say, or people say Martinelli, Leao's better, and he may well be, but
Leao is much better than. It's not just a little bit.
I'm
much
talking
better than
about the type of player. Leao's a runner. He's a powerful runner.
Exactly the same.
And Rodrigo's that little bit different. That samba. Like, do you know what I mean?
Samba,
so, it's exactly what you want.
I think that's a great.
Sorry. I was just going to say, obviously, talking to Club World Cup, obviously, we're all wishing Jamal Musiala a speedy recovery.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting. It's a broken leg and a broken ankle, so he's out for the season. The poor geezer. Yeah, he's out for the season. The poor geezer. So that was not a nice one. So speedy recovery for him.
All right, Steve. Before we go, I'm sure that there's going to be a few questions that a couple of people want to answer. First and foremost, alleviate people's worry of Ethan Nwaneri. I know that there was nothing. All that happened the other day was his agent has asked for guarantees of playing time, which I think I've got things to say about that. Especially when he's played 27 games last season in all competitions and played more minutes than established internationals. Like, it's crazy to me. But it did seem like that story came out. I don't know whether Fabrizio was being a bit cheeky with this one.
Very cheeky.
Directly next to it, which was Chelsea have inquired, said about keep us involved in the situation in case he doesn't sign.
Yeah,
the irony of Chelsea saying that they want to sign Ethan Nwaneri when he wants guarantees of playing time is crazy. Is absolutely crazy. Anyway, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, my information is there's nothing to worry about. I mean, my information is he agreed to Arsenal's contract literally yonks ago, ages ago. So, and I'm sticking by that. It's quite normal for anybody of that. You know, I don't blame him asking the question. You know, what's your plans for me next season?
Yeah.
But and I think you're right. I think what Fabrizio Roman's been very cheeky. Very cheeky. When I see that, I was like,
he knew what he was doing.
I said, you know what you're doing there, mate.
Yeah.
Every single player who signs a contract or is going to a new club or at the beginning of the seasons, one of the questions they will all say is, "What you got plans for me? What's my game time?" So just to bring that up, then I think that was naughty. But yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, mate, it's still very, very advanced. As I say, as far as I know, he's happy. I think things have just been blown way, way, way out of proportion. I mean, Arteta loves Nwaneri. Why? From what I hear in Nwaneri, trusts Arteta, and why shouldn't he? You know, after the amount of game time that he played last season, 36 games, 7 games.
He's the youngest player in Premier League history, and he's now had nearly 40 appearances, appearances for Arsenal by the age of 18.
Yeah,
but that's the point.
Yeah.
He's got them games under his belt. You can't stifle his progression, and that's what he's worried about.
Yeah.
He needs to keep, and you're going out to buy Madawaki and Rodrigo. I see his points entirely. I like you boys seem very calm because he's got 12 months on his contract. Like you seem very calm about this situation.
But I know he's agreed the contracts. That's why I'm calm.
Like why hasn't he signed it then? Like I'd be
For my information, he already has signed it. It's just a matter of being announced.
Oh, it's just got to be announced. Oh, well, that's different, obviously. But yeah, if it's true that he has requested guarantees of playing time, I can understand it. I can. Because you're out there signing, like you're going to be bringing in 2 wingers. You've still got Havertz as well. With our new striker coming in. Where does he fit in to this team? Like seriously, where does he fit in?
He's 18.
I feel like he fits
He's
in.
He's got no right. I don't think
40 games.
I don't think
the same.
I don't think that his age. He was 17 the majority of last season.
Yeah.
For him to come in and start making demands. He can make demands to a degree, but to come in and start sitting down with the manager of one of the biggest clubs in world football, who are going into Champions League, winning Champions Leagues hopefully, and winning Premier Leagues, to come in and demand, say, well, what am I going to? What you did? What's your plan? You know, you better be giving me game time. I don't believe he said that, but if he has, or his agent has, I think it's bang out of order.
I think last season he played too much. Like last season, it was clear he played too much.
What right as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old got to say that?
Lads, all of that aside, the morals aside about where he's got a right to do it, where he's got that, he has done it. He has now. No, you've got to go back to being a third choice player in this team. I can understand his worries there. Like I can, and to be like
what I'm saying,
he's 18. You're saying he should be happy with what he gets.
No, but
I believe he should.
That's too black and white the way you said.
I think he should be happy with what he gets. He's at Arsenal.
What I'm saying, is last season he played too much. And it got to a point, where he broke down, and then Arteta had to use him sparingly to the point where Arteta's being questioned why he didn't play the last 4 games of the season, which he did in the end. He played the last game of the season. Why he didn't play the 4 games in between that was because, do you take that risk? He's still growing. So, from a perspective of manager, how can we say that he can guarantee that he can do that same thing next season? Can he raise his levels and play at that level? No, there needs to be more balance last season, and it should never have been that. It needs to be more balanced this season. So,
but who else of that age has had that amount of game time last season?
Yeah, but this isn't all this one. You're not answering you're not getting to the crux of this. It doesn't matter who's done it before. He's meant to be one of the best youth prospects in the world. He's already played these games. He's going to be 18 to 19 next year, and it isn't like he is fully.
He was 17. He was 18 in March.
It's probably within his right to be asking where
do I fit in? Where does he fit in? Where does he fit in?
In a multitude of positions. In an Erdegaard position. I know you'll keep saying Havertz, but Havertz is also the striker as well. Havertz is the alternate striker.
Arteta sees him as an 8, and Arteta sees him as the 8 or a 10. You don't see him as a right winger.
So the 8, you've just bought 2. You've already just bought in 2 new centre midfielders. You've got Marino last year. I've already said to Keir privately, I think the best place for him is Arsenal. No 2 ways about it. But I can fully understand, and I think his agent is doing the right thing here. If it is the agent, I can fully understand the hold up a minute. Where am I playing? Because I need to be starting a number of games this year. I'm 18, 19. We're not talking about.
What do you think should be right for an 18-year-old? Because he's 18.
His caliber.
He's 19 before he's 19, and he'll be 19 next season. He's 19 at the
30 games a season. Yeah,
30
games.
So would you, if you're Arteta, if you put yourself in Arteta's shoes,
all comps.
Then you can do that.
If you
think that's achievable.
So if you're Arteta in his shoes, right, and Martin Odegaard and Saka go down, right, and you're going for the title and you're going for the Champions League, right? Do you think that even then wary, you'd be free, right? No problem.
I get that one, but you're talking about hypothetical here.
Players go down injured.
That's exactly what we're
hypothetical.
It is. Because that's exactly what he doesn't want to hear. Oh, yeah, listen.
Well, then move on. Then move on.
Odegaard and Saka go down injured.
Then move on. Then.
And that's my point. I think it's fair for him. I think it's very fair for him to be like, I was a key player last year. I'm regarded as one of the best youth prospects in world football. I performed almost every game that I played for you. People were waxing lyrical about me, and now you're out here talking about signing two more wingers that play my position.
But that's the thing.
You can't be. Arsenal can't rely on someone who's just turned 18.
Of course you can't. You're both coming from the Arsenal point of view, and I agree with you on that. I'm talking about his point of view and his agent's point of view.
I 100% get that. 100%. But
he's been at Arsenal since he was 6. He knows the way we.
To say he performed in every game he played last season is just not the truth. Did he perform more than what a 17-year-old would at higher expectation levels than a 17-year-old would? Yes. But did he perform better than an established right midfielder? No, he didn't. And people that say he was are glossing, are absolutely glazing over him, man. Like, it's not quite Mainu, but there's an element of that. There's an element of, he's passed it and it's made a complete pass. Oh, brilliant. Oh, he's such like, I'm not dismissing what Nwaneri does and how good he is, because he's exceptional. And the games, I think it was against Brighton, games against Bolton, and in those games, he absolutely demolished these teams. And I think there's a Champions League game where he smashed it as well. But then you've got the other games where he played like a 5. And he had that consistency across a couple of games where he's just out of his depth. And I don't think, like, we can't be in a position where we are looking at Abson and going, like I said last season, I don't think it was the right decision to have Nwaneri as the main backup in that position.
He's not that player.
A few different positions, and I think it looks like Arteta wants to move him more centrally. I think he's still got the same amount of options as he did last season to get those 30 games. It's not going to be 30 starts. It's going to be 30 games, all competitions. It's going to be, you could play in that 10 position. You can play in that right midfield position. You can play.
But now you're talking about next season. What about the season after? The season after. This is what I'm saying. Like, I can listen. I get your point of view, and of course, no one wants to see him leave on a free or something crazy like that. But I would be. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and if Steve's right, that's banging. He's signed. But if he hasn't, I'd be very worried that.
But where's he going to go? If he goes somewhere else, right? Let's just say he went somewhere else. Yeah. Let's say he done a Cole Palmer, right? And he went to somewhere else. The way he is now, I reckon he'll find himself he won't find a better club than Arsenal, right? I'm pretty sure of that now at this moment in time. And I bet you if he went to a Brighton or Bournemouth, I reckon he'll probably be ending up on the bench there.
He would. Eventually, he'll probably get in as the main starter before he would at Arsenal. Eventually, he'll be a main starter.
If he went to Brighton or Everton, he ain't sitting on the bench there, lads. That's crazy talk. There's no way you can believe that.
Can't get in the Fulham team.
Well,
he's sitting on
at West Ham, is he better than Bowen? No, he's not getting over Bowen. No, he's not.
We used one, but Brighton.
At Newcastle, who's Newcastle's right midfielder?
Langer now.
Langer for 60 mil, ain't they? Them nutters.
It's not that cut and dry. He's not the finished article. He's got so much potential.
I think he's clued up. I think he knows. I think he knows.
It's not short term. It's the short term which I worry that the agent and the player are thinking about. The long term is not a worry for me, because long term
he's a World Cup year as well, lads.
He's a replacement for Martin.
That's out of our hands, though, kids, isn't it? That's out of our hands. If the agent's saying, "Oh, look, you can do this better, you need to play," and he goes, and then where he goes,
that's what my worry is. Yeah. That short term thinking.
That's out of our hands. And then he's a silly boy, isn't he? Then he's a silly boy. But I honestly don't believe. I believe that it's being blown way out of proportion. I believe he will sign a 5-year contract, and I don't believe then where he's that stupid, because I don't think he'll be. There's not a better club. I mean, Arteta's the turn man.
As I said, it's definitely his best option is to stay at Arsenal. He, in my opinion, I agree. I do think he would be foolish to leave your club 100%. But there is, like I say, there's been I've seen a lot of rhetoric online, and as you both been saying here, it was like, why? Like you're saying, Steve, like he should be happy with what he gets. Nah, I can see his point of view, and I can see his agent's point of view, and his agent is doing the best for his player.
But what do you think he should do? What do you think he should be getting at Arsenal then?
Well, as I said, 30 games a season. He should be definitely. If he played that much last season, he should probably get in 20 starts, 10 sub appearances minimum for you boys next year. You keep saying he's 18.
He won't get
18. That's more, but that'd be his worry. Exactly that. You're signing in a right winger. You're signing in this player. Where does he fit in apart from you're the rotation choice when everyone else ain't playing? That's all I'm saying. I can see his point of view. I really can, Ed. I can see it.
Yeah, but yeah, look, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
But we're saying we can see his point of view. I don't think that is his point of view.
If that is the point of view, I can see where that's come from.
Yeah, I see him getting 30 games. I could see him getting 30 games a season. It only look, I don't know.
Can you though? Can you see him getting 30?
It may sound like we're talking about if that happens and this happens. No, you change the team. You change that starting lineup, then Ethan Nwaneri goes in the Erdegaard role and Kai Havertz goes up front or Gyökeres goes up front. It's not a case of Kai Havertz will be sitting in that 10. It's you're rotating.
We haven't.
Then Nwaneri comes in.
We're forgetting this big elephant in the room one thing that we haven't talked about tonight, right? And I don't know if we're going to get to it. But Arsenal have agreed personal terms with a Bariti Eze. So
yeah. What is that one? Yeah, what's that one?
What do you mean? What is that one?
that happened last week, didn't it?
All the things reported it. Fabrizio has reported it. I've reported it. They've spoken to him. They've spoken to his representative. They've spoken to Eze. They've sold him the project. And then now they've got to talk to Crystal Palace about the release clause and the fee.
So which one are we
probably
signing?
The biggest
all these players? It seems like overkill. Are we signing all these players?
Well, it seems that the way Berta's working is that he's talking to many players.
Yeah.
Gauging their interest, telling them the plan, telling them what we want to do.
Yeah.
But I think this Eberechi Eze one, again, you don't get Fabrizio and Ornstein both report the same thing.
Yeah.
Without there be something seriously advanced with the player. And I think that would have been the biggest story tonight, to be honest with you, because that one, from information I'm getting, there's going to be more advanced talks with Crystal Palace on Wednesday. So, and when you look at that, make of it what you will. But that's...
What's happening with Trossard then?
Mate, I've said to you, I've been saying it to a lot of people all this week. It's very difficult to work out what's going on with Arsenal, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes. What does he want Eze for? What does he want? What does he want Rodrigo? Madueke. That's why Madueke, whatever his name is, that's got to be a second replacement right hand side. Nothing else. He does not fit on the left. He does not fit in the middle. That is all you are.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't even spoke to Chelsea yet, right? So let's see what happens with that. If Arsenal can't get him for 30 million, I don't think that'll happen.
Same here. I think it's going to be
but we'll see. Eze's advanced personal terms, reported by myself, reported by Fabrizio Romano, reported by David Ornstein. The whole three of us have said personal terms. Eze is pleased with the Arsenal project. Right, they've stated that it's been posted. That means that's advanced on the players' side. All is left now is for them to talk to Crystal Palace about.
Palace are willing to allow a structure for the release clause because he's got a year after the season.
And Arsenal have got a very good relationship with Crystal Palace. They've load of dealings with them going back over the years, with many times. So good relationship. Eze wants to, Tottenham are still keen, but look, the two big boys, or the three big boys, if you're going to include me in that, right? We've all reported it. So that's a little bit more advanced than Madueke is, more than Rodrigo is. It's seemingly not far off the same sort of advancing as Gyökeres is. So
have you actually got the funds for Eze, Gyökeres,
Your face.
Rodrigo, Madueke? Because I don't. Surely you haven't. Like, there's no way. I looked at the surplus that you had, and it was 100 and something
Like
mil.
90 mil, like 97, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that means you'll be running a big risk if you don't win the like a distance in the Champions League.
I've always been told that the left side of Arsenal's, the wing, is just as literally not far behind of importance as their striker. That's the way Arsenal's looking at it. That's the way they see it. They want to strengthen substantially on that left-hand side. So I think Rodrigo is the dream, but I honestly think that Izzy is someone who can play on that left. He's very defensively good, like Martinelli is, because sometimes he's played in that 8 as well. He's also very good in the 10. He can operate in that area of those old 3 positions across that left-hand side. There may be looking at that Eze thing as if Rodrigo don't happen. So you've got a Martinelli and Eze, and Madueke on the right with Gyökeres at the front. But I don't think Eze and Rodrigo would both come in. But at the moment, they can't really go any further. Like I said, that's at a standstill with Rodrigo because he still hasn't said, I want to leave yet. So they're going ahead with Eze, as I've reported, as Fabrizio Romano's reported, and as David Ornstein's reported. That's quite advanced on the player side. The talks with the club is yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thinking of it, because I can't see, like Garfield, I can't see Rodrigo. I can't see Rodrigo and Eze,
especially when you're bringing that level in. Like it's gonna a lot of imbalance. Like
I mean, we've talked about Martinelli not being sold, but it just you think if Eze and Rodrigo did come in, you would think he would have to go.
No, he'd have to. Yeah,
we just wouldn't.
That's a direct replacement for your Trossard and your thingy. And your Martinelli.
So, but Eze's the one to keep an eye, but just because of the strength of the strength of the reporters that have reported on it.
Or that'd be a letdown. That'd be a letdown. Talking about Rodrigo, you end up with Eze. I
like Eze. I'm a big fan of Eze. I know you're not.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
but that's fair. That's fair. But I'll be a big fan.
He's good. Like that's what. Like I don't think he's got it in him to make the leap. I really don't. Eze could be very wrong. Been wrong many times about player. And if there's any club that he would work at, it is Arsenal. But I don't have him higher. Like, but then again, I'm sitting here rating Madueke, so everyone else is probably laughing at me about that. So,
Yeah, the Madueke for your style of player. Very direct. Steve, any more stories in your book?
No, mate. No, I mean, I think we've covered everything. We've covered everything tonight. Stay tuned for the week. Hopefully we'll have some more in the week.
This Valencia midfielder that Man United are looking at. Have you heard anything about this, or is this just a Twitter thing that I heard?
Who is it? Oh, yeah, no, I did see that. What's his name?
Can't think of his name now. Yeah. But obviously you haven't, Steve, so no, don't worry about it. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's just I saw it literally this morning that Man United are looking at Valencia. Here we go. I don't want Antonio Valencia. Right, it's not giving it to me, so it doesn't matter. It's a Valencia midfielder.
It's Javi Guerrero, is it?
That's it, Javi Guerrero. That's it. Yeah, but if it sort of pops up in the old BBC.
It's close to agreeing. Close to agreeing a deal. Closing on a deal.
I don't know much about it either before anyone asks.
So, you never know with these things, but they're in trouble. Yeah. Valencia are in trouble. They need money. So, which is why Arsenal are pushing for the Mosquera deal. Yeah. And they are not, I think there's 25 mil or 20 mil that Arsenal are offering, and Valencia want more, and they're essentially saying, you're broke. take the money.
Take what we offer.
Because he's got 1 year left in his contract, he's not willing to sign a new deal. And they've offered him a new deal with substantial pay rise. And he said, no, I want to join Arsenal. Arsenal.
Oh no. Apparently Man United are doing an Amazon TV show as well, according to Aldstein.
Oh, brilliant. Love that. Can't wait to see that.
Not brilliant. We're a shambles, mate. The last thing I need to see is the inner workings of the shit show that is Man United all over Amazon Prime, mate. Oh dear, oh dear.
Right. For everyone watching, press that like and subscribe, please. We've got 733 people watching right now. Most of you watching on Twitter as well. So please press that like and please press that retweet. It makes a massive, massive difference to the show. Let's get more viewers watching. If you are watching on YouTube, mind fart there. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Press that share button if you want. Just press the little link. Get it on there. Helps with the algorithm. Helps push it to the front page. You know what I mean? That's where we want to get to. Thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us tonight, Garth.
Yeah, absolute pleasure as always. Cheers for having me.
As I always say, make sure you go and follow us on TikTok on the Transfer Exchange Show page on there, or Kieran AFC. Those pages are building day by day, brick by brick. One day. You know what I mean?
Mention
Jesse. I'm going to be that guy that's just going to be ignoring my fans on the street. And I don't want to be...
No folks, please. No folks.
Say fame changes you, it would change me. I'm not going to lie.
I bet you one step there. Jesse Lingard is a fan. Just so you're fully aware, people.
Liked one of my posts and favorited one of the videos. Just saying.
Just saying.
Jesse Lingard, Kieran Stewart, the connection. I'm just saying. in now. Appreciate the support anyway. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.